This sourdough focaccia has a crisp golden crust, a soft airy interior, and incredible flavor from a long fermentation. Today I'm finishing it with fresh rosemary from the garden and some sun-dried tomatoes. Focaccia is one of the most forgiving breads you can make, and using sourdough starter gives it really nice, incredible flavor. Let's go ahead and start making this bread. We'll start by adding the sourdough starter, salt, and water to a bowl and stirring that together. Once that's combined, add the flour and mix until everything is incorporated and a rough, shaggy dough forms. At this stage, we're just making sure all the flour is hydrated. This shouldn't take more than a minute or two to mix. Once the dough comes together and forms that shaggy texture, we'll let it sit at room temperature for about an hour. Just cover the bowl with plastic wrap, or you can use a damp towel. This rest gives the flour time to hydrate and helps the dough start building structure. After the dough is rested, we'll do a series of stretch and folds. I usually do about 8 to 10 folds, just gently pulling the dough up and folding it back into itself. This strengthens the dough without needing to knead it. Once the folds are finished, we'll let the dough sit at room temperature covered until it doubles in size. In my kitchen, this usually takes about 6 to 8 hours, but that time can vary depending on the temperature and climate where you are. So it's best to watch the dough rather than watch the clock. Once the dough is doubled in size, we'll transfer it into a greased 9x13 pan. I like to use a metal pan with a generous coating of extra virgin olive oil. Gently place the dough into the pan, then cover it and transfer it to the refrigerator to rest overnight. The cold fermentation helps develop even more flavor and makes the dough easier to handle the next day. While the dough finishes resting, I like to prep a few toppings. For this loaf, I picked some fresh rosemary from the garden and chopped a few sun-dried tomatoes. But focaccia is really flexible. You can keep it simple with flaky sea salt or add whatever toppings you like. We'll pull the dough out of the refrigerator and drizzle just a little more extra virgin olive oil over the top. Then add the rosemary and sun-dried tomatoes, gently pressing them into the dough. After that, let the dough come back to room temperature. I like to let it sit for about 2 hours before baking. Before baking, we'll create the classic focaccia dimples. Using your fingers, press gently into the dough across the entire surface. These pockets help hold the olive oil and give focaccia its signature texture. Then we'll bake it at 425 degrees for about 30 minutes, or until the top is lightly golden. And this is how it looks once it comes out of the oven. I like to run a spatula around the outside of the pan to make sure the bread releases easily, then transfer it over to a cutting board. Normally you'd want to let the focaccia rest about 30 minutes before slicing, but I wanted to show you what the inside looks straight out of the oven. I love the texture of focaccia. It's soft, flavorful, and it makes incredible sandwiches. And I'll actually be using this bread for a sandwich in my sandwich series this Wednesday, so be sure to watch out for that. But for now, this is my sourdough focaccia. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure you subscribe and gather at our table. I'll see you on the next one.